Hi y'all, and welcome back to my channel. I'm glad to have you here with me this evening. This evening I'm going to be making for you meatloaf, and it's just a basic version of meatloaf. And if you wouldn't mind, if you like this video, would you give me a thumbs up? And if you are not a subscriber, I would love to have you as one. So if you could just hit subscribe, and then if you hit that little bell notification thing, it will let you know every time I post a video. So we are going to go ahead and we are going to get started. Let me bring you down some so you can see what I am doing here. I have a screw missing out of my tripod, so I'm hoping it's not going to fall. I am going to have to search for that. Okay, so right here I have, I don't know, approximately about a pound of ground chuck. They had, it was a little over 3 pounds on sale the other day. It was reduced down, so I just kind of divided it in thirds and stuck it in the freezer. So we're going to stick this in there first. Let me get that down in there. All right, now next to this, not next to it. Okay, the next thing I'm going to add is some onion, and this is just one small onion that I have chopped, diced. And if you don't like onion, you don't have to put it in there. You might want to try some onion powder if you like that. That would be a good alternative. All right. And if you will excuse me a moment, I must have breathed in some pepper somewhere a while ago, or it was the onion. Something's making my nose run, so I need to go wipe my nose and wash my hands. I'm sorry about that. I hate that when that happens. I remember days when my children were younger, and you know, interruptions would come up, and I'd have to stop, and I was like, I just got my hands clean. I'm starting to work with food, and I had to stop, go take care of things, and come back and wash the hands again. All right. So anyway, so we have the onion in. Next, I am going to put in here, this is just a half of a chopped green pepper, chopped green bell pepper. I know I've told y'all before. If you're new, maybe you don't know, but when my husband was living, he could not eat green bell pepper, so I could not cook with it, and I love, that was the way I grew up, was cooking with it. And so now I try to cook with it, unless my son is here, and my son cannot eat it either. So if he's here eating, I cannot use it then either. I'm trying to get this jar open. This is a new jar. I ran out of my other one. All right, this is some minced garlic. I don't know if y'all know this trick. If you can't get your new jar open, stick a small spoon up under there and just kind of pop it up under there, and it'll pop that right off. My sister-in-law, Tracy, had shown me that one day. She had said that her grandmother showed it to her, and I've never seen that before. All right, so I'm going to put about, a spoonful in there. Let's give it a little more. I like garlic. And I got just a little bit of the juice too. All right, so next I am going to stick in some black pepper. I don't know why I got my pepper shaker out and this out too. Just sprinkle to your liking. And and even the onions, like I said, if you don't like it, you don't have to put it in there. The green peppers, you don't have to put it in there. You could put celery in here. I don't have any, but you could stick celery in there. Then next, I am going to add just a tad more garlic. I like garlic. I love garlic. And I am going to use just a little bit of garlic powder. Now, I am not going to add salt. Well, I guess that's watermark. I am not going to add salt to mine, just because I don't use much salt. Then ketchup, just going around a couple of times. Okay, Y'all get gnats? We have gnats. I was watching it. It was flying on the outside. I was just making sure. Thought, oh no, please don't let that be on the inside. I know y'all are probably laughing at me, and you know what? I really don't care, because this stuff like this happens to all of us, doesn't it? I brought in some fresh fruit the other day. I think I'm going to add just a tad more. Anyway, stuff like that happens to all of us. So I'm just, you know, here and I'm real. So next I want to use some steak sauce. And I was trying to tell you and say it at the same time. Doesn't matter what kind you use. I just like some steak sauce. This is just what I happen to have. So just a little bit of that. I would say maybe a couple of 2 or 3 tablespoons. Okay. And I'd say on the ketchup, it's maybe a 1/4 cup, maybe a 1/3 of a cup, to have just however tomatoey you want it. I don't even know if that's really a word. All right, next in mine, I like to use now there are lots of times I've had use regular crackers because, you know, these cost more money. And, you know, you have to do what you can afford to do. I have used oatmeal in mine before, you know, dried oatmeal, dried oats, I guess, before you cook it into oatmeal. And you have to do what you can afford. That's why I'm not wanting to hear tell you, oh, you got to use this brand or anything, because you have to do what you can afford. And don't ever let anyone make you feel as if you have to use a certain brand on anything, because you don't. And this was some I had, this is the last I had. And this package is probably a little over half of a package, so I am going to just use all of them. And I did forget one ingredient, so I will need to go get that in just a moment. Just crumble those crackers all up in there. All right, I will be back with you in just a moment. All right, now next you want to put in some milk. Now if you never made it with milk, what the milk does, it helps to keep it moist. And I just want a couple of tablespoons. That's about all, 2 or 3. I think 2 will be plenty. And put that in there. And the reason I poured it in here instead of trying to guess at it is for the simple fact that sometimes my hands like to just jerk, and when they do, because carpal tunnel and nerve damage in there, and when they do that, I have been pouring milk before, and sometimes they'll go jump ahead of me. You know, if I'm making something that needs a lot of milk, that's fine because I can stop it, but when something real small, I don't want that. Now next I am going to put in 2 eggs. And I tell you what, the best way to do this, just get in there with your hand and mix it all up. I like to just break up my yolk and then go from there and dig down to the bottom. And just get in there and mix it up. And yes, my hands are clean. I wash my hands all the time. And hopefully you do too. It should be a good practice. Y'all know when COVID hit and it's all coming out with these things about wash your hands this time or wash your hands that time, and all these rules for washing hands, it was like, a lot of them, it's like, seriously? Are you people not, you know, practicing this? I thought it was just common practice to wash your hands before you eat or before you cook, or, you know, wash your hands before, or not before, well, yes. Sometimes, depending on where you've been, you may want to wash your hands before you go to the bathroom. And definitely wash them afterwards. Okay, I am looking at this, and I'm thinking I want just a little bit more ketchup in here. And probably just a tad more of the steak sauce. And I just go by looks. The way it just looks to me. Well, let's see if I can pull this off one-handed. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to mix this in there. Is it raining where y'all live? Of course, you're probably not watching this at the same time I'm making this for sure, because I'm not going live, huh? But anyway, it's raining here. It's just about quit. It started a little bit earlier, which was a nice steady rain. And I know there are some of the farmers around here that were needing some of that rain. All right, let me wash my hands, or this hand, and I'll be back with you. All right. Okay, now, the next thing I want to do is to, and I forgot to tell you this in the beginning, but you will want your oven preheated at 350. I have mine at 325 because I'm using my little toaster oven. But 350 is what you want. Now we are going to put all of this into our loaf pan. And you know, when I'm cooking for someone and I need more meat, I usually don't use the loaf pan, honestly. And sometimes even just a pound, I'll use a different pan. But today I said I'm going to use the loaf pan. We want to cook this. Total cooking time is going to be about an hour, maybe a little over. But let me see what I was thinking of saying there. Oh, I am going to cook it for 30 minutes. And then I am going to get the grease off of it, the grease that comes out of there. So I am going to go stick this in the oven and cook it for 30 minutes, and then I will be back. All right, I am back, and I'm going to show you kind of like what I do just to get some of the extra grease off. I just kind of tip it here, can you see? And just kind of pour it. You have to be very gentle. Just lift up the back here, and then the front tilt down a little. And start slide, just take it and kind of just give it a little bit of a very light shake, and then do it a little bit again. And then sometimes too, you can turn it around and then go the other way. And it starts to slide too much, then you know that that's probably good enough for now. You definitely don't want your meatloaf coming out. All right, then what I like to do, you could do a brown sugar and mustard, you know, do all that. But I like to just take some, sometimes I put ketchup on top, and sometimes I just put some barbecue sauce. Tonight I'm just putting this hickory smoked barbecue sauce on top of it. Looking for my little brush. Not seeing it in there, so I'll just grab a spoon. Just spread that on there. think I need just a little bit more. Come on. There, it's coming out now. And finish spreading that on there. All right, now I'm going to pop this back in the oven for another 30 minutes, and I'll be back when it's finished. All right, the meatloaf is finished, and I like to set it out on the cooling rack to get a little air under there to let it cool a little bit. And that's what it looks like. I like to let it sit there about 5 or 10 minutes. And so it's been sitting there for a little bit, so we'll try to get a piece out. And of course, you know, you can always just lift it out and, you know, put it on a serving platter, too, if you're going to, you know, set your table nice. Everybody's going to sit down at the table and eat. You may want to do that instead of putting the pot on there. If you want to put the pot on there, that's fine, too. It's, you know, whatever you prefer. Let me get a plate, and we'll see if we can get a little piece out of there. Knife over here out of this string. I haven't emptied yet. Today is Sunday here. Get up under there. Maybe I went down deep enough. That's okay, you'll get a piece of it. And there we go. Let's taste test that. I'll bring you up here. Well, that tastes very good to me. Now, something I forgot to tell you is that a lot of times I'll use a packet of that, mercy, you know, are y'all like me, and you, as you get older, your brain does not always think? But anyway, I like to use a packet of that, you know, instant soup mix. I think the brand name is Lipton. Of course, I usually use Aldi brand. But just, you know, you can make dips or whatever with it. The dehydrated onions and some spices in there. But I usually put that in my meatloaf too, but I was out of that. When I went to the store, I forgot all about buying it. So that makes it have even a better flavor. So if you want to remember that, to put in a thing of the onion soup mix. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, so I am going to finish cooking up my okra, and that will be on another video. So I'll be probably cooking some more another day or two, and they'll be on another video tonight. I just, sometimes I'll take, or, you know, do 2 at a time, but I hate doing it because, knowing me, I would get confused and put 2 of them, be in the middle of doing meatloaf, and then you would have something else in the middle of it. So, all right, remember to always season your cooking with love. See y'all later.